In our search for different articles and sources, we have used different databases such as Infomedia, Factalink, and The Guardian to narrow down our search for these three sources. When we use these databases, we find limited articles, reviews, speeches, videos, etc. That are very relevant to our subject and our subject only. After we pick these websites and speech, we browse through the various websites, articles, and videos and narrow it down to Obama's speech, a video analysis of this speech, and a response to this speech. That leaves us with a primary source and two supporting secondary sources. We chose to reject material that had the same intention and viewpoint as Obama in his speech, since we wanted our secondary material to prepare the ground for debate. In this Obama speech surrounded NSA and their surveillance around both domestic but also overseas, he talks about how it is in NSA and why they actually had to work on the secrecy. And the analysis of Obama's speech, they take a starting point in how he used rhetoric tools and political quotes so he can keep his path clean, and therefore he cannot be judged by the media or other political parties. In a way, he's actually defending NSA since he's acknowledging the fact that the NSA staff has to be working under secrecy. But he also says that NSA shouldn't be unchecked, since they always want to push the limits for what surveillance can do, and therefore the work should be checked. And instead of in these reforms he commits, he's not actually making good reforms that actually make a change. He presents reforms that are misleading, since their work is secret. He cannot public explain what's actually going on, and therefore they can still, for example, spy on their allies and move the databases, for example, third parties such as private companies, and still have access to it. And the response to Obama's speech, it was by Mozilla, an internet company and a global community of users and developers. This takes starting point in a Benjamin Franklin quote, which is, "They who would give up essential liberty to persuade a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety." And it endorsed legislative reform to limit surveillance, such as the USA Freedom Act and UCPA reform efforts. Also proposed reforms on encouraging, promoting or supporting backdoors, and efforts to undermine security standards and protocols, and protect the privacy rights of foreign citizens with no connection to intelligence, military, or terrorist activity. So this is actually the first sign of response and speech on surveillance reform, and therefore it's also the first official response to how NSA is surveilling overseas country and also domestic. And while we search on this internet, we use the local school website where we could, for example, find the Infomedia, and we also used the library, but we didn't find any relevant usage. In working with this particular speech, it will be appropriate to make a rhetorical analysis, analyzing the devices Obama uses to convince his voters that his plan of action is the key to a safe and free America where surveillance is limited. You can then have a closer look at the intention of the speech, which can then be compared with the intentions of two secondary resources. This can then lead over to the video analysis of the speech, that is our secondary source, which discusses how Obama rhetorical tools during the speech takes away focus from actual problem and surveillance in America and overseas countries. And lastly, we have read a response to the speech that can enlighten a discussion on whether Obama addresses the main problems within this debate topic. So we actually have this primary source, which is Obama's speech, and then we have two supporting sources which not actually share the same viewpoint on the speeches, but they are preparing the ground for debate, and that's why we picked these two supporting sources, so we can have three sources which say three different things.